But such is the success of tonight's show that we may be pushing it off to the very last minute to try and get everything in. Let me tell you about the back half tonight of Coast to Coast AM, which ordinarily would be done tonight by George Knapp, but he had some technical problems, and so I was asked if I would fill in, and I did on the stipulation that I got to keep his guests, because I completely chime with this topic. I love Native American stories in general. I find them challenging and fascinating at the same time. I think they're very informative, and where I live here in the upper Midwest, it explains a lot about why our country is formed and shaped the way that it has been. These Native American stories, I think, are very powerful. They're insightful, and especially when it comes with more information on other stories which we talk about in a mainstream sense, like Bigfoot. And tonight on the back half of Coast to Coast, we'll talk with a couple of people who are with the North American Bigfoot Search. Dave Paulides is the man who was a former law enforcement agent and a senior executive in the technology sector before starting the North American Bigfoot Search. He also spent 2 years living among the Hoopa tribal members, listening to and recording their Bigfoot stories. Harvey Pratt's going to be on at the same time. He is a Cheyenne and Arapaho tribal member and is recognized as an accomplished master Native American Indian artist. He's won all sorts of awards. His background is also in law enforcement, and he has worked on various well-known cases, but he, as an artist, will be bringing his eye to these amazing forensic artistic renderings of Bigfoot. You can see some of them online at coasttocoastam.com, and that'll come after we talk with Kathy Strain. Now, Kathy Strain has written a book that George Knapp highly recommends, Giants, Cannibals, and Monsters. He says here, and I quote, "It may be the most beautiful Bigfoot book he's ever seen. It's a coffee table type book. It's gorgeous, well laid out. And while Bigfoot legends are the focus, it's packed with stuff only an anthropologist like Kathy would pick out, such as insight into the different tribal beliefs. 57 different tribes are included in this book, and really wonderful old photos of tribe members." So we'll talk with Kathy about that before we get to our other guests. And in this first hour, we'll take a look at a couple of things. Last night we were talking about the earthquake that happened in Chile. We're still getting reports of increased death tolls somewhere north of 700. As you have heard, no doubt by now, it would have been a lot worse had this earthquake happened closer to the water's surface at a depth of 22 miles. It muted what would have been a lot of the damage and potential tsunamis. So although 700 is still very tragic, it was a much more powerful earthquake that had less of an impact than a less powerful earthquake